with Mr. John Seward, the Director of Enrollment at Rectory School. This is more for international families. So in general, what kind of applications or applicants you look for, what kind of students you look for, and also how do you assess their applications?
So through the application process, we ask for testing from the students. We also do a formal interview. What we want to see out of strong applicants here at Rectory is a very well-rounded student. So we don't want to see just strong test scores or that they're strong academically. We want to see that they're involved with either different sports or the arts, different extracurricular activities as well. And we weigh the interview very heavily. So when we converse with the students, we want to make sure we can see some personality from them. We want to hear their story. We want to hear, not just short scripted answers. We want to really get to know who these students are.
And there are different parts of applications, especially for international students. Which do you look, I guess, would you say look for most? There is the test part, SAT and TOEFL. There's a GPA part, which is the how the student performs in his or her school. Then there's the, of course, essay, recommendation, interview, and then the extracurriculars. All students coming to Rectory are young age, and they don't have much polished skill sets in music or in sports or in art. So which areas do you focus more when you are reading the application?
Well, I mean, the initial part, of course, we have to look at the testing. So we have certain standards that we have for each grade level that students need to be at a certain level for either the TOEFL or TOEFL Junior, and then the SSAT as well. So that's kind of the initial part we look at. But as we move into the application process and the interview, a big thing for us is having a student who is anxious about trying, because we understand that not every student has had the opportunity to get involved with music or the arts or different sports. But we want to see a student who is excited about that and who is going to come to our school, and we know they will get involved heavily with the different opportunities that we have here.
Yes. And do you find that excitement through interview, or do you prefer to read about them in essays or recommendations? How do you assess their excitement?
I mean, again, Jean, the interview is a big part for us. And we understand what is on paper is not always necessarily exactly who the student is. And so in that interview, we sit with these students for about a half an hour. And it's a verbal conversation. It's very casual, but we really can get to know a kid in that short amount of time. We also have them do a little writing sample for us during the interview. And, and so that really brings out a lot of, who the child really is as well. So, and lets them tell a little story.
And just touching more about the interview, is there a certain thing that you look for? And again, this is for international students coming from different culture, and you know Asian culture very well. Certain things that you look for or you hope that the students do not do or the parents do. I guess caution would be the word I'm looking for.
I mean, the big thing for us is the enthusiasm part. So on that perspective, we want to see that student who is anxious to get involved and excited to get involved with different pieces there. The things they might want to shy away from or just be a little cautious about would be things such as slouching in their desk or playing with a piece of paper on the table as well. So they really want to make sure that their posture is correct, that they're being respectful, that they're being polite in that aspect.
Yes.
Which is very important.
So is it proper to advise families that as soon as they arrive at Rectory campus, they should put on their best behavior. And I think they should, because if they're really interested in the school, waiting for the tour or waiting to speak with the teacher or admissions, they want to, because in the waiting room, the visitors room, there are a lot of magazines and information about the school. I think is there for a purpose.
Right. We want to see who the family and the child really is. And I think some families try to put up a little bit too much of a front and try to be too proper, that we can't really get to know them or the child that well. And I think what makes a student unique and probably will stick out is a student who is able to relax and able to converse very casually, instead of trying to be scripted and trying to have the right answers to questions, to be more themselves. And I think that's a little bit of a mistake that some families can make.
Yes.
Yep.
Could you kindly share a story of the best interview child you had and one of the I guess less sort of good ones?
A particular story, I think, I had a student, an international student who had come, and he did so much research on the school. And before I was even able to talk to him about certain aspects of the school, he would say, "Oh, I know that program, and I'm excited to get involved with that program." And just his excitement and how casual he was in speaking with me was incredible. And that's what's really sticks out for me, is a student who's going to be anxious and has done their research on the school because they're excited about the possibility of being enrolled in the school. And on the other side, I could think of many stories of interviews that maybe didn't go as well as they hoped. But just kids who, on the other side, haven't done any research on the school and come in and you ask them if they've heard about, let's say, our IIP program, and if they don't have an idea about that, then it just shows very kind of carelessness on our end, and that the child it almost feels like he's being forced to be here, and instead of him or her really wanting to be there.
Well, thank you, John.
I appreciate it, Jean. It was great talking with you today.